Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something huge, a massive, brand new joint government initiative that's literally shaking up the entire AI landscape. It's called AI Forge, and it's a completely new approach to bridging the gap between the highest levels of government and advanced AI tech.
So why does AI Forge even exist? Well, we've got to start with a really fundamental question. We all know commercial AI is moving at lightning speed, right? We see it every single day. But is that fast-paced, commercially driven AI actually ready for life-or-death, high-stakes military scenarios? Think about it. If you're a military operator or an intel analyst under extreme time pressure, can you just blindly trust an off-the-shelf commercial model? Yep, the short answer right now is a hard no.
And this brilliantly illustrates the root of the problem. It really comes down to a massive structural divide. On one hand, you've got commercial AI. They're heavily incentivized to build for the masses, right? Broad applications, huge user bases, commercial viability. But on the other hand, national security needs demand extreme, bulletproof reliability in high-stakes, super-specific situations, what we call low-distribution scenarios. Right now, there is a massive gaping hole between these two worlds, and honestly, it's a critical structural flaw in how AI is currently being developed.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. Here's how we're going to unpack DARPA and NSF's solution today. First, we'll look at the AI security gap. Second, enter AI Forge. Third, the three pillars of innovation. Fourth, persistent ecosystem versus competition. And finally, what this means next.
All right, starting off with number one, the AI security gap.
To really wrap our heads around this gap, we need to look at how the AI ecosystem is currently fragmented. It's basically split into three very distinct silos, and each one holds a crucial piece of the puzzle. First up, you have the frontier labs. These guys have massive scale and incredible computing power, but like we just talked about, they're driven almost entirely by commercial incentives. Second, the universities. This is where the deep foundational brainpower and research live, but they completely lack the massive scale and compute of big tech companies. And finally, the government and the intelligence community, or IC. They have the critical life-or-death operational use cases, but they just don't have the bridging infrastructure to connect academic theory with commercial scale. So everyone has a piece, but they're all completely disconnected.
Which brings us to part two. Enter AI Forge.
Officially announced on June 1st, 2026, enter AI Forge. So what is it? It's a brand new joint research and development program spearheaded by DARPA and the U.S. National Science Foundation, the NSF, and they're also teaming up with CASI, that's the Center for AI Standards and Innovation over at NIST. But the real takeaway here is that this isn't just some experimental one-off project. This initiative is strategically aligned with America's overarching AI action plan. It's a huge deal.
I really want to read this quote to you because it perfectly captures the whole narrative authority behind this initiative. Matthew Mardaj, the DARPA program manager for AI Forge, put it like this: "At the intersection is high-risk, high-reward research that requires both massive scale and deep mission-driven work. With AI Forge, we're looking to build an ambitious new ecosystem that bridges this gap." He absolutely hits the nail on the head here. He's framing AI Forge not just as another funding stream, but as a literal physical bridge connecting those isolated sectors we just talked about.
Moving on to Section 3, Three Pillars of Innovation.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how they're actually tackling the problem. The program brought together top leaders who laid out 15 specific research challenges in a big report. And these challenges are grouped into three distinct thrust areas, or pillars, for university-led teams to focus on. First, we've got AI interpretability, meaning making the AI actually legible to human operators. Then AI control, focusing on strong, verifiable evidence of bounded behavior. And finally, adversarial robustness, which is all about resilience under deliberate attack. And get this, because AI moves so incredibly fast, they plan to revisit and update these challenges every 6 months. That's how serious they are about keeping pace.
Let's zoom in on a couple of these. When AI Forge talks about operational interpretability, they make it very clear they aren't just talking about academic mechanistic circuits. It's not about a data scientist sitting in a lab understanding the underlying math. No, it's about a human operator actually trusting and understanding what the system is doing and why it's doing it in the middle of an active, highly stressful, time-constrained mission. Because in those moments, a wrong inference could have absolutely catastrophic consequences.
And that directly feeds into the next pillar,
adversarial robustness. See, in the commercial world, AI security usually just means stopping a chatbot from saying something inappropriate. But for the intelligence community and the Department of War, they are operating in what they call contested environments. That means facing active, highly intelligent adversaries who are out there deliberately trying to use prompt injections or data poisoning to break the system. AI Forge wants to build scientific foundations for AI that is resilient by design against these kinds of deliberate attacks.
All right, part 4, persistent ecosystem versus competition.
This right here represents a massive paradigm shift in how DARPA approaches AI. To really get it, we should contrast the new AI Forge with DARPA's recently wrapped-up AI Cyber Challenge, or AIXCC. AIXCC was a bounded 2-year competition. It was focused on finding synthetic vulnerabilities. You know, a contest with a clear finish line. But AI Forge, it's totally different. It's designed to be a persistent research ecosystem. We're talking about building ongoing infrastructure using real operational intelligence community use cases, not just synthetic benchmarks.
But hey, we definitely shouldn't discount AIXCC. That competition proved a really important point. AI security at scale is actually tractable. During that event, teams found 54 synthetic vulnerabilities across 54 million lines of code. I mean, they proved it could be done. And that success basically paved the way for AI Forge, proving that if you throw the right resources at the problem, you get real results. So now AI Forge is going to take that momentum and apply it to much deeper foundational continuous work.
Finally, Section 5. What this means next.
So what does this all mean for the real world? The crucial point is that AI Forge is going to send some serious ripple effects across the entire tech ecosystem. For AI researchers, this opens up a massive new funding channel for high-risk foundational work. For the frontier labs, the program explicitly includes a robust cross-sector talent exchange, letting them actually get their hands dirty with mission-oriented problems. For security devs, well, history shows us that DARPA outputs always eventually filter out into open literature, which means brand new open-source tools for adversarial defense. And for the broader community, pushing the limits of operator-facing model legibility is going to create tools that are incredibly useful, way outside of just national security.
And guys, this is moving incredibly fast. Just look at the immediate timeline. The program was just announced on June 1st. Bam! They immediately issued a request for information, calling for bold ideas from universities, with a ridiculously tight deadline of June 22nd. From there, a forum run by a nonprofit organization will officially launch in the summer of 2026 to start funding and actually guiding these fast-paced projects.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought to ponder. As AI Forge successfully builds this persistent bridge between massive commercial scale and the intense demands of national security, will the broader open-source AI community actually be ready to adopt these new resilient-by-design standards once they hit the open literature? It's a fascinating question, right? And it's one we are definitely going to be watching closely as these Department of War and intelligence community-informed breakthroughs inevitably begin to reshape the whole AI landscape. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.